Hey, Dr. Laura Dabney with you this month, and we're going to talk about how not to raise a sociopath or narcissist. This is a question I get all the time because teenagers can look like they're sociopaths or narcissists, but they're really healthy teens. So what the heck is the difference? So we're going to be talking about this month, and to start with, I really need us to understand what a sociopath or narcissist is. If we don't fully understand this, we're not going to be able to know how to avoid it or avoid raising one. These terms have been in the news a lot, and we in psychology have them under the umbrella of personality disorder. It's a terrible phrase, I know, but that's the phrase we use. Personality disorders has many different forms. Two of them are which, the sociopath and the narcissist. So what does that mean? What is a person who has a personality disorder? What does that mean? What's at the heart of that? Well, what's at the heart of that is people with personality disorders can't do relationships. Okay, there are people who actually can't tolerate relationships, but they want them terribly. It's an awful dilemma for them, and most of this is unconscious. But what you'll see is that they can't really tolerate closeness, and they can't tolerate distance. And those two things are kind of at the poles of all healthy relationships. What do I mean by that? So if you think about if you're healthy and in a healthy relationship, what that means is you're getting close and you're getting distant. You're getting close and you're getting distance, right? You have a friend and you see her and you have a great time, and then you don't see her and you do other things, and you see her and you have a great time. So all relationships that are healthy are like that. What happens with a narcissist or a sociopath is they can't really tolerate closeness for very long because it feels like being taken over. So to them, closeness starts feeling like being invaded, taken over, eliminated. It becomes a terrible feeling for them. Just like distancing becomes a terrible feeling for them because it feels like abandonment, terrible loss. Okay, so both of these feel like extremes to the personality disorder patients, so they avoid them. And how they avoid them is doing this, what I call this wiggling around in the middle. Instead of doing close and distancing, they're getting close and then doing something to break the closeness, such as arguing, cheating, lying, attacking, whatever it is. They gotta get away. And they do, but they can't stay away because after they're away, it starts feeling like terrible loss and terrible abandonment. And so then they become charming and lovely and helpful and wonderful to get close again. And then they do it again. So we've all seen people have these kind of relationships, right? Where it's just, they get together and they blow up. It's this huge, thing. They don't just stop talking, or they don't just break up. It's this drama thing, right? And then they can't stand being away from each other and they get back together. Now, this can even be marriage and divorce, and marriage and divorce, and marriage and divorce. Or just lots of breaks up and getting back together. Okay, so this is sort of the hallmark, this winging around back and forth to extremes. There's some other tip-offs you can learn to spot to see if you are dealing with somebody who's a narcissist or a sociopath or someone with a personality disorder, and that is inconsistencies. So if you spot somebody who is like really friendly with somebody, they just seem just so close and so friendly with that person, but behind your back you hear them talking about negatively about that person behind their back. Right? Doesn't add up. They're getting close to the person, but then they get the distancing they need by talking badly about them. The other way you may see this is a lie. So you may see somebody tell somebody some news about something, like this stock is doing great, or hey, let me help you with this. But then behind the back you hear a lie. Well, that stock really isn't doing well. Or, oh yeah, I didn't really take the mail in for that person. And you think there's no advantage. It's really confusing because you can't see the advantage until you think about it in these terms, right? They got close to the person by being helpful, and the person was probably very grateful, and they had this bonding moment, which they then had to break by lying. The lying is like a secret. I have this distance from you because I know something you don't, okay? Or the other way we see this is they may become a trusted advisor, some kind of trusted person with this person, either as a worker or a helping hand. This is like embezzlement. This is what sociopaths do with embezzlement. Or thieves. They become the trusted housekeeper or the trusted pet sitter or the trusted right-hand person at the office. And then They're doing something to break that, undermining it somehow, either undermining the business, undermining the person, stealing, taking things, some way breaking the closeness over here. So that inconsistency you never understood before, you may be able to understand now in terms of closeness and distancing. Okay, so this is our topic for the month. Next week we're going to talk about how is this different than a typical teen? Because teens can do this manipulative and wigging back and forth dramatic behavior, but it's different. And we're going to talk about how. Okay, so I'll talk to you next week.